Okay.
Shame on you, Jake. Shame on you.
So, if all those things are the same, if all those things are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. So I would say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. Now here's the thing though, order matters. So I said ABC. What does A match up to on this right triangle? D.
So it would be D and D.
What does B match up to on the right triangle? F. And then what does C match up to? E. Okay, so even if I don't have this picture up here, I know everything is the same if it matches up here. Like for example, I know just by looking at this, angle A should be congruent to angle D. Which it is, of course. Angle B is congruent to angle F. And angle C is congruent to angle E. Whoops. So that's 3 pairs of angles. What else do I know about these 2 triangles? AB, right, the sides. Segment AB is congruent to segment DF. Side AB is congruent to DF. Side BC is congruent to FE. And which one did I miss?
CA.
Right.
Congruent to ED.
AC and DE. The order doesn't matter. AC. Whoops. Too many lines. Okay. Anyway, that's basically the gist. Okay, on page 1. I'm not gonna turn it yet. On page 159, which triangle appears on number 1? Which triangle appears to be congruent to the given triangle?
D.
Yeah. If you look at number 1, that triangle looks the most like. Wait, did you guys say B?
I would say
D.
It's D as in dog. Yeah.
Number 1?
Not necessarily.
We're on number 1.
That was number 1.
Number 1.
Number 3 says name 2 pairs of polygons that appear to be congruent. So- okay, what's one pair of triangles that looks the same? Be careful. B and C. B and C, and what was the other one? D and E is correct. B and C, D and E. Those are the 2 pairs. You guys see it in the picture? You gotta be able to rotate the shapes in your head a little bit, which we can do, right? Number 5, this is kind of easy work here. On number 5, it says complete this congruent statement. LM, segment LM, is going to be congruent to what? LM on the HI. LM on the right is the same thing as HI on the left. So use the same symbols that they use. So if they put line segment symbol, then you put line segment symbol. So put segment HI. B is angle I. What's angle I going to be the same thing as?
Angle M.
Angle M. No, you can, let's just go back.
Angle
I'm trying to set up my desk.
5.
I don't think so. All right. C is GJ. You guys probably done this while I was talking, didn't you? What's GJ the same thing as? KN.
And what did we put for B? What was number 3?
Angle M.
I don't know.
Okay, on D, what is angle N congruent to? N on the right shape is like what on the left? J. Angle J.
Oh wait, this is D.
Revelation. E is segment KL. You guys see KL? GH. Segment GH. If you don't put the symbols down, I'll get grumpy and take a point
What
off.
symbol?
Because I'm a grumpy old man, that's why. Okay, on F, it says angle K. What is angle K the same thing as? Angle G. 5.
Oh, I forgot to put the angle for 15.
Yeah. A is the same as G.
Alright, number 7. Write a valid triangle congruent statement for each pair. What do you mean? What do you think they mean by triangle congruent statement?
Blank is congruent to blank.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do triangle ABC for the left triangle.
Not so common.
And what is that the same thing as? So you have to get the letters in the right order. So A on the left triangle matches what on the right
Q.
triangle? P.
Oh,
One line,
yeah.
one line.
So I just gotta.
No.
A is congruent to P.
Okay. So no, don't put A as congruent to P. We're writing the triangles are congruent, not the angles. So I'm going to put triangle ABC is congruent to triangle, and then I said, what does A match up with? P. What does B match up with? Q. And then L is the other one, right?
P, Q, L?
Yes.
Yes.
So whatever letters you choose on the first triangle, doesn't matter what order you do. But the second triangle, the order has to match. The letters should match your first triangle. Does that make sense? Okay, number 9. So what do we want for the order of our first triangle? Let's just say AML. If I was doing it, I'd probably do that.
A?
AML.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. AML is the same thing as
X, P, V.
XPV.
Yes.
Sounds like a virus, right?
Son of a virus. That was sarcastic.
Here it is.
Uh-huh.
You're fired.
Well, XP is experience. Experience virus.
Okay, number 11.
Wait, we didn't even.
UPA, THK.
Okay, UPA, if we do that route.
The shadow is covering it.
UPA, THK.
You want, okay. Okay, U goes with T. What does P go with?
H.
So THK.
Too bad it's not UPS.
Will.
Okay, 13. Use correct notation. We're kind of doing the same thing on 13. Use correct notation to name the congruent triangle. So if we go on A, if we go TIS, what do we do for the right triangle? DNA. Do you guys know what DNA stands for?
Yeah.
Deoxyribonucleic acid. We just learned this in biology.
Oh, really?
Science pays off.
Science pays off. Okay, IST. What?
NPA.
And nope. IST.
N-A-D.
Oh,
NAD.
I
Whoops. I'm trying to listen.
This is 13.
Okay.
A.
C is TSI. What?
B. Man.
TSI for number 3. What does that go with?
Dan.
Dan. And then SIT. S-I-T.
And.
And. All right. 15 says, name the congruent corresponding parts of the congruent triangles. I kind of did this earlier. You guys remember how many parts are? Nope. How many congruent corresponding parts are there in the two triangles? 6. 3 angles, 3 sides. So on 15 they did not draw a picture. You don't need a picture. But on 15 angle Q would match what? Q and no.
Wait, oh, no picture?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at the picture.
QL.
Q and L. Yeah, that's, the picture is for 14. 15 does not have a picture.
MP and
Yeah, Q and L go together, M and P, N and S. Does anybody have a question where we got that from?
No.
Okay, what else? What else is going to be congruent on those two
Wait,
triangles?
I see what you mean.
Okay,
Q and L.
QM, yeah, side QM, segment QM. Now they didn't draw the picture, but I know that there is a side called QM. Is going to be congruent to LP. And what else? MN
Probably.
What's that right
And then to G.
to PS. You guys know what PS stands for?
Post.
Postscript. And then what are we missing? I got
You
QN and LS.
What's an 8
So we just followed the pattern of the letters. 17. Okay, it says given the picture, basically is the given. But if you look down on the proof, they wrote a lot of stuff down. How did they know all that stuff that they wrote down? In the picture, you see all those red marks saying all that stuff is congruent, like the 3 dashes and the 3 dashes, the 2 dashes, the 2 dashes, 1 dash, 1 dash, 1 arc, 1 arc. All that stuff is congruent on the left and the right triangle. And that's what they wrote on the given. So basically, if you look at the given, they got all three sides, all three pairs of sides are congruent, and one pair of angles is congruent. What we're trying to prove is that all the triangles are congruent. So if we can just say why we know the other two pairs of angles are congruent, then we know the triangles have to be congruent. What is the reason for line 1? Given. As always. 17, line 1 is given. Okay, line 2. Oh, I was looking at the wrong problem. Vertical, it says the reason is vertical angle theorem. So what do you think the statement must have been? Yeah, Archie?
Angle BCA and DCE.
DCE, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, those are called vertical angles. We know vertical angles are always congruent. Okay, so the given, line 1 gave us all three pairs of sides are congruent. They gave us one pair of angles is congruent. We just said another pair of angles is congruent. That wasn't given to us. So what are we missing? We're missing the third pair of angles. Which angles have we not said are congruent yet? Angle A and angle D. In the picture, it's told us B and E in the picture. We just said the vertical angles in the middle are the same. What are we missing? Angle D and angle E. How do we know they're congruent? Or sorry, D and A. Not D and E. Okay, we used this trick yesterday. If you know two pairs of angles and the triangles are congruent, then what do we know? The third pair has to be congruent. Right? Like if we know this has 70 and 80, this has 70 and 80, the third pair has to be both 30. Okay, that was a theorem. Yesterday I made you write down the theorem. Today I'll let you, we'll do the abbreviated book version. So AA means if these two pairs of angles are congruent in the triangle, then all three pairs of angles are congruent in the triangle. That's the,
Like AAA,
yeah, batteries.
not the batteries.
Okay, why would you guys guess that we now know on line 4 that the triangles are congruent? No. Good guesses on the normal problem, but no. Okay, because we said all the parts are the same, so we know the triangles are the same, basically. And guess, right, somebody, well, who said it? What'd you say? Close. We're not proving angles. Definition of congruent triangles.
I just saw it.
Yep.
So quick announcement, I made a mistake. Mr. Cloud said you cannot wear shorts tomorrow, so tell the rest of the softball class as well. So, I'm sorry.
Make sure you wear something that you can work in.
Oh, but not shorts.
Jeans are good work clothes.
Wait, I can't wear like.
You could
Yeah,
wear
you
those.
When I did farm work, I wore jeans every day.
You know, jeans were designed for work. They were designed for minors. So for hard work.
I wear jeans for
That's
work.
what you do.
Jeans are comfortable, they're durable, they're good work clothes.
They were originally designed for minors to take down some
It's
lines.
not gonna be hot outside.
If you go to On the Rock, it's a funny joke.
It's going to be storming.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, slave. I was a slave.
You've been talking about that since the
I couldn't.
Good. You need a little bit of slavery.
Where is that?
Alright,
What?
number 18. Okay, 18. So line 1, guess what we're gonna put on line 1?
Given.
The given. What is given to us? What is given to us? No, that's not given to us, that's what we're trying to prove.
I lost track.
The drawing.
Okay, the drawing is given to us, but what does the drawing tell us, though?
Yeah.
Then, A, B, D, C, D, R.
The figure where line triangle AD something is line AC.
Say again, Will?
B, the line segment of BD is a vertical. Wait, is that the?
Okay, what's that symbol mean?
Whatever that symbol means.
Perpendicular.
AC.
You guys remember what perpendicular means?
I thought one would get, oh.
It is given. This is the stuff that is given. BD is perpendicular to AC. What does perpendicular mean?
It's a right angle.
They make 90 degrees, yes. That's not all that's given. Remember on the last problem, they wrote a bunch of stuff out for the given? We just wrote the given down. But how did they know all that stuff on number 17 for line 1? It was in the picture. So what else is in the picture for number 18 besides the perpendicular line thing? What do we know for sure from the picture that's the same? AB is congruent to what? Segment AB is congruent to what?
BC.
BC. What else?
AD is congruent to DC.
AD is congruent to DC. Whoa.
Oh, you have to write all this?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, I see one more. There's one more thing we know. Angle A is congruent to angle C. Okay, all that is given. Basically, most of it was given to us in the picture. They didn't say it, they just drew it. Okay, line 2 says BD is congruent to BD. Why do you think, so we're trying to prove the triangles are congruent. Why do you think they're saying something kind of like BD is congruent to BD?
Because they're the lines of two different triangles.
Right. That is a side in both triangles. If we're trying to say all these parts are the same in both triangles, we need to say the part that's shared is the same in both triangles. So BD, yeah, good job, Mary Ann. Reflexive property. The queen of the notes. Reflexive property.
You're all up on me. It's not visual. I don't, I didn't learn it.
Reflexive.
All right. Line 3, definition of perpendicular. So guess what we can say by the perpendicular line thing? What can we say if the lines, those BD and AC are perpendicular? What does that mean? Nope. If those lines are perpendicular, then what do we know? Angle D is not an angle. You gotta be more specific.
Angle D is right. Angle ADB.
Angle ADB and CDB, angle CDB are right angles. That's what perpendicular means.
You put an arrow pointing to the right, so I don't have to write the whole way out. And I can fit it. Or no, I wrote it hard.
Okay, if those two are both right angles, guess what we can say about those two?
Both equal 90 degrees.
Okay, yeah, we could both say they're both equal to 90, and then we can say therefore they're both equal to each other. But we can skip that intermediate step and just go ahead and say they are congruent. It's kind of a theorem that all right angles are congruent to each other.
That's the right one.
So this is like,
Do not encourage him.
Carson, you're not enforcing
and we've been popular with this now, that's the security. All right angles are congruent. That was probably the hardest one. Okay, so if you look above number 4, so far what we've got is, we've said 3 pairs of sides are the same. We've said 2 pairs of angles are congruent. So what are we missing? The last pair of angles are congruent, number 5. How do we know that last pair of angles is congruent? No. We've used this trick twice now.
Vertical angle.
No, they're not vertical. Yeah. Yes. If 2 angles in a triangle, 2 pairs of angles and 2 triangles are congruent, the third pairs are congruent. So just don't like the last problem. 2 pairs of angles are congruent implies all 3 pairs of angles are congruent. Then why is that enough information to say the triangles are congruent? I'm doing number 18.
Yeah, no, I know.
It has 6 lines.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
I don't.
Okay, anyway, why do I now know the triangles are congruent? We've used this one already too.
The definition of congruent triangle.
Definition of congruent triangles. As soon as you say all the parts are the same, you know the triangles are the same.
I thought we're just reading half the words in the symbols now.
This is a good one, right? Go out.
Okay,
Don't you do
on 19, it says find each measure if the scissors truss forms congruent triangles. We got anybody who knows what a scissors truss is?
Words.
I didn't either, but looking at the picture, I think I know what it is. You might think they know what that is.
I can imagine it, but I
Three.
It kind of looks like a pyramid.
Okay, well, it's like what they build to support the roof of the house, basically, the inside of the roof of the house. Okay, so, it tells us that triangle, those two triangles, ACB and ADB, are congruent. You guys see triangle ACB and ADB in the picture?
6.
Number 19. Those two triangles are congruent. So the question on 19 is, how long is AC?
6 feet.
6 feet. You guys see how I figured that out?
Oh, yeah,
It matches the other.
that's 19.
21. I don't know why this is in the B section. It's not any hard. Angle C.
Oh.
So they should have been more specific, but say what? Angle C is what?
Congruent angle B. 75.
75 degrees. Yeah, we're looking for the measure of angle C, not what it's congruent to. That's what the little
Yes.
N means. On 19, when they said AC, they meant the length of AC because they didn't put the segment symbol on top. 23, how would we find the measure of angle ABC?
180
Add 75 and 35 together. And then 180 minus.
Yes. In the left triangle, we know there's 75 and 35. We just said 70.
70.
So
70 is in the same angle.
180 minus 110 is 70, yes.
But wait, wouldn't the answer be 180?
No, 70 degrees.
Would the
No.
same extra degree to also?
So on 23 is asking for the missing angle?
22 is asking for angle BAD, that's the top angle. We just did 23.
Yeah, exactly. So
You
it's
do.
asking for the missing angle.
Yeah, there's 180 minus 35 minus 75.
Yeah, I know.
So it's 70. Yeah.
For number 22, would I like, minus 35 from 180?
No, 20, BAD, you see BAD in the picture?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Wouldn't BAD be 30?
Yeah,
22 feet is
no.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
guys.
They're not, Will, it's not parallel lines. You can't use alternate interior angles. They're not parallel lines. Is that what you're thinking?